Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about anyone else that's aspiring to do this lifestyle. More so focused if you're looking to do like snowboarding and traveling to ski resorts and stuff. I just have some tips today and I just wanted to share them. Let's get started. So if you're new to the channel, I'm Kevin. This is my truck camper. It has no name. It's a 2001 Northern Light 10-2000. The truck's a 2005 Ram with the 5.9 liter Cummins in it. And I travel around in it full time. During the summer, I started out on a road trip and it just kind of hasn't ended yet. So yeah, cool story. If you're more interested in that story, maybe go back and look at some of my older videos. And if you enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe. But back to the point now. So some things I've learned about traveling to ski resorts and basically boondocking in a truck camper. For one, this is going to work for anyone, even if you're just a weekend warrior type person, you want to do this, or if you want to take off an entire month or something, I got lots of advice for you. Choosing your rig. You don't need to choose a truck camper. Truck campers are absolutely great. They're awesome and everything. But in reality, I've seen lots of people in just like SUVs and stuff doing this, and they're getting by just fine. It's a bit more crammed. If you have another person, I probably don't recommend that. Unless you really love each other, then good on you. But if you are in a smaller SUV or something, you're probably going to save a lot of money on fuel. And something you can do out of that is get a hotel like once a week or something like that, and kind of have it as a reset, do some laundry, get some stuff cleaned, you know, all that stuff. Like originally, I actually used to travel out of a Jeep Wrangler and sleep in the back of it in my younger days. But once I got a girlfriend and I started traveling around, that got kind of old. So I switched to a truck camper. And that's when everything changed. When I started to be able to go to ski resorts, camp out, had a heater and everything. And at that point I realized I was like, I'm never going to get a hotel again, because it was such a better vibe going in the truck camper. But back onto the topic. Another thing I've noticed is a lot of people in vans doing this, transit buses, like just about anything you can do it in. The only thing I wouldn't recommend probably is something like a pull behind trailer, unless it's a really small one. There are people that do it, but your mobility goes way down, and finding places to camp in the winter is already hard. Not all ski resorts allow this. I'll get more into that. And sometimes you have to go out and find different spots to park. So having a rig that's basically no trailer, it's just one unit, it opens up a lot more spaces for you to go. So that's definitely something to think about when choosing this lifestyle. And another little side note on your rig. If you're someone and you do not have a lot of carpentry skills and stuff, and you want to be able to get out there and get onto the road as quick as possible, truck campers are pretty great. You don't have to do a build in them. The battery system in them from the factory, if you don't want to go too crazy with it, you could just get a generator. You'll have to use it a lot because old lead acid batteries, they don't have much power in them. I think the best you can really do is, like, if you're lucky, you'll find like some lead acid batteries. They'll give you like 150 amp hours with 2 of them, but you can only drain them down to 50% before they're basically useless. So I do recommend people do a power system, but a good alternative to that is just a generator. That's going to give you your best bet and everything in the winter. But yeah, I like that about truck campers, is you don't have to do a build in them. You basically go out, buy it, and you might want to do like a couple little things in it, but honestly, you can just hop in it and go to their ski resort, depending on what truck camper you buy too. Some older ones, you might want to go in there with some spray foam and seal up some spots. It's crazy where I am right now. Like last night, all I heard was coyotes just like howling all night long. I woke up this morning, they were still howling. I wake up pretty early at like 3:30, so yeah, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm just outside Bend, Oregon right now. I've been snowboarding at Mount Bachelor, and they're going through a storm cycle in the next couple days here, so I decided to stay in the area and get some more in. But yeah, it's been pretty great. So I guess another thing to mention would be how do I find places to camp for the night? So there's a lot. Find the resorts you want to go to their website, or do a Google search of the resort and then put camping after it. It's going to show Google results, and it's going to say basically like most of these resorts have a policy on camping, and it'll let you know if it's cool to stay in their parking lot, if you have to pay something to stay in their parking lot, or if it's completely, absolutely not allowed. So if it says that you can stay in their parking lot, good to go. If it says you have to pay in their parking lot, how much? And if it says no camping in their parking lot, well, here's my solution to that. So I'm part of a Facebook group called the Icon and Epic Pass RV and van dwelling. And I highly recommend, if you're doing this lifestyle, to join it, because you basically go in the search bar of that group, type in the resort, and then you can find out where you're going to be able to stay. Because usually someone's asked someone, where can I stay at this resort, since they don't allow camping. So go in there, you start looking, and booyah, you find it. Easy peasy. Oh, sorry, I just want to sit down a little bit. You know, sometimes a rock is really comfortable. So like at Mount Bachelor here, they do actually offer camping in their parking lot. But it's $50, and then it's $60 for the weekend. So it's not cheap. To me, that's pretty expensive. So I went to that Facebook group and I looked into it, and I found out snow parks are a great place to camp in for a night. Luckily, there's a snow park 7 minutes away from that mountain. So perfect. So that's what I started doing. I went and got a snow park pass. That was a fun event, seeing that I'm not from this country, and the website said go to the DMV. The DMV didn't have it, and then I had to go hunt that down. But it wasn't that bad. I basically asked someone, and they pointed me in the right direction, and I found it. But yeah, it was $25 for the snow park pass. That's USD. And I was able to stay there for 4 nights. And it was a 7-minute drive to the resort, so it worked out pretty well. So with camping in these parking lots, I want to talk about some etiquette with it. These are rules I live by, and I think people should probably take a little bit of a lesson from this. Number one, no number ones or twos in the parking lot. That should be, I don't know. The number ones, I think a lot of people don't think anything of, but the snow is white, and when people come up there for a weekend with the kids for a ski holiday and they start seeing yellow snow all over the parking lot, it kind of looks pretty bad. So I recommend people not do that. There's other options. There is the good old-fashioned luggable loo, and if you don't know what that is, just type in the Google search. You'll find it. It's a bucket that you put a bag in, but you could figure out the rest there. And there's also the fact too, just if you don't have a bathroom, just have a pee bottle. That's probably, I'm saying this right now because I know other people are like, well, it just melts and goes into the ground or whatever. I know it's not hurting anyone, but it's also not sightly to see. The resort doesn't want to see it. And if they do start seeing it a lot, then those places are going to be shut down, and we're not going to be allowed to stay at them anymore. So have some etiquette, be respectful. Don't go having a bonfire in the parking lot. Most of these resorts, if they have camping, they also have rules. And I really highly recommend you read their rules, because they'll probably have in there no fires. They might have in there fires off ground. I believe that's what, on the website of Mount Bachelor, I believe that's what they said on there. You can have an above ground fire pit or a propane one, but no fires on the ground. And that's kind of obvious why, because they don't want, well, burn marks in their parking lots, or if you're using pallet boards or something, nails all over the place. Like, yeah. The other etiquette too, I try to be as quiet as possible. After a certain time period at the night, I make sure I don't have my generator going anymore. I definitely don't want to be that guy running the generator all night, because, yeah. Or if you're near like houses and stuff and you're there, don't run the generator. It's just going to annoy the neighbors, and the neighbors are going to call the resort or whatever. And the resort, as soon as it becomes inconvenient for the resort, they're going to just ban it, because that's the most convenient thing for them to do, not to cater to us. Especially if it's free. If it's free, they're even if it's like $50 a night, they're not making money off of it, and not a lot. Like, they're making more off of people coming to the hotel rooms and staying in a $400 hotel room a night. And this, if I had to do that every night, I couldn't afford to do this. So that's why I originally went to a truck camper, is because this made going on ski trips and stuff like that affordable. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about getting to the mountain and not dying if there's a blizzard. First thing you're going to want is a good set of tires. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can just get a set of chains or whatever. No, get a good set of winter tires. It's going to be a lot better, yeah. Chains are for extreme cases in like deep snow, or when the roads are absolutely glare ice, which very rarely happens. It's usually, for the most part, winter tires are going to be getting you places and good to go. Also, slowing down really helps. The tires I use are actually all-terrain. It's the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. They are really good in the winter. I've absolutely loved them. I used to be a Duratrack guy, but I really love these tires now, mostly because I can actually get them in a 37-inch. Absolutely phenomenal. A good set of winter tires are gonna work just as good, if not better. So I would suggest that you get winter tires. If you have some extra money laying around, yeah, get some chains, but the chains aren't going to help you in every case. They're actually going to impede you in a lot of cases, because you can't do the speed limit or anything like that when you have chains on. You can only go a certain speed. So putting your chains on, you now have to drive slower, where if you had winter tires, you could actually drive an honest speed. And yes, in a blizzard, you are supposed to drive slower, but I'm not talking about blizzards. I'm talking about the times when it's a little bit icy outside and winter tires would help, not the times that it's in a complete blizzard. Get winter tires. You'll thank me later. Also, I want to say about tires, if you are getting a truck camper, actually, even if you have a van, learn about load index. You can get E-rated tires or whatever, but that doesn't really matter. That's not weight rating. What you want to look for is load index on the tire. There's a chart online, look that up, and that's going to tell you what weight rating your tires will take. These are a load index 128. So on the chart, that's about 3,950 pounds per tire. There's a bird over there. Freaked me out. If you get an E-rated tire and you didn't pay attention to what the load index is, or it's some cheap Chinese tire that said it was E-rated and it doesn't have like actual load index on it, you don't know what weight it actually holds. And you need to be able to figure that out, because yeah, if you have a dually truck, you're probably okay. A dually truck with a decent set of tires, you're probably okay. But single rear wheel with a truck camper on it, you gotta know about these load indexes. You gotta know what your tire rating is. You should also try to figure out what your rim rating is. For the most part, you're okay. You'll be all right. But if you have some like fancy aftermarket rims, there's a good chance that they might actually be less load rating than the factory ones were. So look it up, figure it out. It's important. This could be the difference between a blowout or not. And having this much weight on and a blowout is not something you want. So I guess I should talk to you guys about the pass I use for going to all these different resorts. I'm not going to go too much into detail with it. There is basically 2 major passes and then some smaller ones. So my pass is the Icon Pass. Last year I had the Epic Pass. What the Icon Pass does is it gives me a bunch of resorts that I can go to, and they have 2 different tiers with it. One's like a 5 days at each resort, one is 7 days at each resort, and then there's 14 resorts you get unlimited days at. So I don't know, I really like the Icon. Last year I had the Epic, and I found the Epic Pass was lacking in Canada, other than you get unlimited days at Whistler and then 7 days at RCR resorts. More on that. I was able to use 5 days at the RCR resorts last year and 4 days at Whistler. But I was also working full time then, so I wasn't able to go on a big long road trip like this. Whereas right now I am using the Icon Pass and I get 5 days at each of these resorts. There's a lot more resorts in Canada with the Icon Pass, I find, so you get a lot more variety, and I've been really enjoying it. Your other option too is the RCR Pass resorts of the Canadian Rockies. They basically all their resorts, and you can get one that gets all of their resorts plus Lake Louise, and it's basically unlimited. So that's a really good deal, I find, especially if you are in like Western Canada, interior BC. That's like, yeah, that's an awesome one. So my 2 I recommend is that and the Icon Pass. There's other passes too, like the Mountain Collective, the Indy Pass. Those are cheaper, smaller ones. The Indy Pass is only limited because it is smaller resorts, and they might be smaller, but they're great. Don't worry about that. Also, those Indy resorts, I think a lot of them offer camping in the parking lots, so that might be something to look at if this is primarily what you want to do. But yeah, don't quote me on that. Do your research, check it. We just went over how to do that. But yes, if you are from Canada, 3 passes I recommend is Mountain Collective, Icon Pass, and Resorts of the Canadian Rockies. The Resorts of the Canadian Rockies one is expensive, but it's unlimited days at those resorts. So if those are the places you want to go snowboarding, I would choose that one. So ironically enough, Bigfoot and Northern Light both make campers with basements. Ironically enough, they're both Canadian. And ironically enough, I believe their factories are actually within about 100 kilometers of each other, but they have nothing to do with each other, other than their construction's very similar, like both full fiberglass and everything. And a lot of the same features, like this basement here. That's like perfect for ski storage, perfect for snowboard storage. I absolutely love it. I don't think I'd ever buy a truck camper without it. It's just really wicked. Another thing people do on the back of vans is maybe put like a ski box on the back and you can throw stuff in there. Also, people with vans, sometimes they build their van around having a basement in it, and then you can just put your storage inside. And that's how I would do it, just because then it's heated, your stuff stays warm, and also that's a lot harder to steal. My basement does lock, so I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, and it's all heated in there, so works pretty good. Now, this might be obvious, but you're going to really like having a Four Seasons camper, especially if you want to run water. Let me explain. Just because my truck camper, down to about minus 25, I've had it, and I've had water on, all the lines filled, like no issues at all. It's really, really, really good in the winter. My last truck camper was a Northern Light as well, and it did really, really well in the winter. My first truck camper though was not. It was an older truck camper, and believe it or not, There was no insulation in it. It was a cardboard, or not cardboard, that would be really bad. It was actually a plywood shell, and then just had like siding on it and whatnot and decorated inside. Like there was nothing to it. I thought there was something, but it was like, oh, there's nothing to this. It's just a plywood shell. So if that says anything, if you want to run water and stuff, that's really the difference between Four Season and any other truck camper. Like my first one that was a plywood shell, me and my girlfriend at the time stayed in there at minus 27 Celsius, and we lived. We were fine. Only had the propane furnace going. Like it was cozy warm in there, no issues. Woke up, looked outside, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And we even went snowboarding that day. Only one run, but it was cold. My second one, I definitely felt was not as Four Season. It was a 1998 9.6 Northern Light, and it wasn't as Four Season as this thing. This thing is a beast. Dual pane windows, everything like that. It's sealed up really nice. I only have the factory furnace going in it, and I'm able to keep that thing at 23 degrees Celsius all winter long inside. Like it's a nice, warm, comfortable thing to be in. And I was in Calgary before heading out this way, and it got down to minus 25. I woke up and I was like, oh, it's kind of nice in here. It must not be that cold outside. Look at the temperature. It's minus 25. I was like, wow. Okay, I really respect this thing. Checked all my temperature gauges in my tanks and everything, and everything was above about plus 15 Celsius, so no worries. Everything's fine. So do I recommend you go out and spend extra money on a Four Seasons truck camper? Honestly, if you can afford it, I would. It makes a big difference. It's really nice. It's a great to have. There's nothing better than having a Four Seasons camper and then being able to take a shower after snowboarding all day and it's freezing outside. Like, it's really good. Your alternative with that is you can go to like community rec centers and take showers there. But I don't know. Sometimes having your own shower is just really nice. Same with your own bathroom. I haven't winterized this thing once this year. I actually don't plan on winterizing it for the next 5 years, so probably won't. I guess we'll see how cold I get it. And that brings me to this other topic here too, which is finding dump stations. So dump stations aren't hard to find. Finding ones opened in the winter can be a little bit tricky. My best two resources for that is iOverlander and SaniDumps.com. SaniDumps.com, what it basically is a database of dump stations all over Canada and I believe in the US too. iOverlander has a big community of people on it, and basically when people find dump stations or go to use one and they find that it's open, they usually comment on it and then add, hey, this one's still open. And if it's open in the winter, a lot of people comment on that. There's a lot of people that do this, going to ski resorts and stuff and camping. So finding like dump stations and stuff, it's really nice when you can go on there, see that someone mentioned that it was opened in January. So when they used it and you're like, sweet, it's probably still open. So you go check and you're good. That's the same thing with finding water. I've used it a lot of times for that. That's the same thing with finding water. SaniDump.com, it's okay for it. It will have on there if it has water or not, if it's potable or not. But iOverlander has been absolutely phenomenal for that. The other thing you can do is just go ask a gas station. Ask if they have their water on still. A lot of times they'll be like, oh yeah, we still have our water on. Or like when I was in Calgary, I went to a gas station and they basically just said, hey, we can turn it on for you from the inside. So they did that and I was able to fill my water. They didn't even charge me. I just had to tell them when I was done and they went and turned it off again. Like, it's that simple. It's not like someone's going go through the depths of a tunnel and through a rat-infested sewer or something to turn the water on for these gas stations. It's usually just a knob on the inside, or most places just have a frost plug and the water's on all the time. Like, yeah, it doesn't just, yeah. I don't know, it's been really easy to find actually. I haven't had an issue this year. Last year when I was living in one place, it was a bit more difficult. I was fortunate enough to have a work that had a shop and had water on the inside, and I was able to go get water there. But I had options. I knew people, and I could have went and asked them and maybe just paid some of their water bill for the month, and every once a week went and picked up water. But yeah, that's getting more into like me living in the things. But we're talking about chasing snowstorms here, right? And now I guess my last thing to talk about is like, just get out there and have fun. This is such a cool way to do this. You literally go out, you get to a ski hill, park up, you hop in the back of your truck camper and just enjoy it. Like cooking, you can literally, like, I have an oven. I can bake like brownies or whatever and just be sitting on the ski hill watching the snow come down and thinking about how great of a day I'm gonna have tomorrow. Like, I don't know, I really enjoy this. I think it's a great culture. I think it's like it's just awesome. I'm so glad I found this community when I did, like, years ago, and just being able to start traveling around in a truck camper and just going to ski resorts like this. It's just, I don't know. It's awesome. It's really that great. I don't think I would be this much into snowboarding if I didn't do it like this. I definitely couldn't afford snowboarding if I didn't do it like this. Like, what's a lift ticket cost now? Just about $200? Like, there's no way. I don't want to pay that. That's why I get the pass. My pass for the year is like $1,300, and so long as I use it about 8 times, I'm good, which I've already done that this year, so pretty happy. So yeah, these are my tips for saving money and doing this lifestyle, traveling around, going to ski resorts and chasing that powder. So I hope to see you all out there. Hope to see you on the ski hill, camping out, being respectful. We can all do our part. We can all have a blast doing this. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And I can't wait to take you with me on the next one, which will probably be more snowboarding. Yeah, definitely. Or maybe staring at an ocean, that would be cool too. Can I use my snowboard as a surfboard? Probably not. Okay, I'm just being goofy. I'll see you guys later.